Good afternoon. My name is Andy Pelletier. I'm the Director of Inspection Services for the Town of Southbridge, Mass. Last November, we were notified of two trucks that were rejected, two of our recycle trucks that were rejected because of too much contamination. We did an audit and we were running better than 30% contamination in our loads. We set out to reduce that number. Now I'm standing here with Brandon and Pedro, and they are going to be auditing our load today to see how much progress we've made in reducing the contamination, working with the citizens of the town of Southbridge and their recycling. I'm going to be talking extensively with Anna Smith. Anna designed and found the funding for the program that we launched to get the recycling purer than it was. And periodically I will be taking, once I find him, I'm going to bring Paul Degnan in, and there'll be several questions I'll ask of him regarding, why can't that thing go in there as they're pulling some of this stuff out. So hopefully with no further ado, we can begin the audit and see where we stand.
So this load was taken from an entire load of recycling that just came in off of the truck. And what they're doing here, as you can see, one of the things that they found was a full bag of recyclables. That was one of the things that we've been trying to educate folks on, not to put the recycling in a plastic bag. So what he's doing is actually taking the recycling out of the bag. The reason why we don't want plastic bags in our recycling loads is that it gets caught in the machinery at the plant, and it actually becomes a worker safety issue, as the worker has to go in and actually cut those plastic bags that have been tangled around equipment. So what they're looking for in the load is they're looking for items that are not recyclable in our program. The things that are not accepted and that we would consider contamination are things like plastic bags, plastic wrap like that which is found over water bottles, bulky items which could include bulky plastic toys, any hazardous waste, any tanglers such as cords, hoses. We're also looking at contamination from the perspective of how dirty the recycling is. The recycling markets don't tolerate a lot of food waste in the recycling, so lightly rinsing out your recycling is really important. So let's take a look. So what Brandon has pulled out so far is plastic bags, plastic wrap, wood. Wood is considered construction material and it's not accepted in the recycling. Bucket is for trash. Okay. So when we started the program back in January was when we first started to go out and do curbside education. Our recycling contamination rate was over 30%. So this audit, it will tell us, at least on this load, what percentage is contamination. We watched the load tip today, and at first glance, it looks very good. So we're very hopeful.
Brandon,
Yep.
Can you just explain the audit process to us a bit? We just watched it,
Yep.
But you just came in with a tractor, and now we have a bunch of spread out stuff. What did we accomplish? What's the theory behind the audit?
So, behind the audit, what we have is we have the big pile, unsorted, and we start off sorting off all the the residue, which is any loose bag film. We have some tanglers, some scrap metal in here. This one's empty. And we have actual trash and some wood, and that's all good recycling.
Okay, so I assume that the audit must be a percentage of weight that you find contamination compared to the percentage of the trash or the percentage of the load.
Yep.
how did you get the weight of the load to begin with? I saw you take it off the other end on a skid steer and dump it here on a skid steer, but how do you know what the weight of the load was?
So we take the skid steer bucket full and we run it on our scale. We take the weight of that and we subtract the weight of the empty skid steer, and that's the weight of the audit. And once we separate the stuff, we weigh the barrels empty, and then we weigh them when the material's in it. Then we subtract that, and that's how we come up with our percentages.
Okay.
So right now, since we're all done, we'll start weighing the barrels. We'll add up everything, and we'll start, working with the numbers.
I think one of the great improvements that you folks have made is getting rid of the bag trash and the bag recycling. You've gotten rid of so many of the bags. It's been huge for us. Bags are a tremendous problem for us. It's actually one of the number one contaminants that we have. And the biggest problem is it wraps around all of the equipment, all of the conveyor belts, a lot of the screens and the shafts. Those plastic bags wrap around, cause us a lot of downtime to go in and clean the material, and it actually will damage the equipment if we don't get it out. It'll actually wrap around and will score the metal and actually break shafts and bearings.
Okay, but the bags have a recycle sign on there. Is there a way that bags can be recycled, or are they just trash?
No, plastic bags are recyclable. Empty plastic bags should be brought back to your local grocery store or pharmacy, and usually there's a collection bin there just for plastic bags. And I would also add that you can add other plastic film to that, so bread bags, case wrap, the things that go around a case of water, all of that film type plastic can get recycled back to those drop-off centers.
Plastics in general, wouldn't it be better for us, basically for recycling, if we kind of overdid it with plastics and let your system sort it out? It seems like a pretty efficient system then.
It's an efficient system, but the system's really designed for separating out plastic containers. And if you put all the plastics in and all it does is contribute to the back end, the material coming out as trash, it's less material at the end of the day, at the end of the week, that we can actually process. So right now, for example, we see anywhere from overall 15 to 20% contamination. 20% contamination means that 1 day a week worth of material actually is trash. So if we can reduce that to 10% or less, which is the goal, less than 10%, we can actually process more recyclables and recycle more material overall.
Okay, and we haven't got the results of this audit yet, but just from what you've seen from the loads from last November when you were rejecting our loads to what's been coming through January, March, July recently, what's your prediction on this one?
I think you're going to be under 10%. If you're over 10, it's because of the wood, that the wood was heavy. The wood, again, and maybe a little bit of scrap metal may have shot your weights up, which may affect your percentage. But I would say, again, overall, I did not see a lot of plastic bags. I didn't see a lot of food waste. And so in that regard, it's actually better. We can get the wood out easier than we can the food contamination in the plastic bags. So overall, you folks have done a great job. A huge awareness on not putting those things in. And we can visually check just when we see the load that the material is cleaner.
Okay. Paul, you mentioned food waste. I see a lot of the tinfoil, and we kept that as recyclable materials. Just how clean does this have to be in order to throw it in? Or a can or a bottle of salsa? How clean does it really have to be recyclable?
So it doesn't need to be run through the dishwasher, but we do appreciate a quick wipe or a quick rinse, right? So the time that this goes from the homeowner to the ultimate mill where it's going to get recycled could very easily be a couple of months. So a lot of food contamination is just going to attract animals or insects that you don't want, flies, rats, whether it's here, whether it's at the mill, along the trucking routes. All it could do is present material problems. The other thing that I would add is that with this too much food waste, as it gets compressed in the truck or as it gets handled at our facility, that food waste will contaminate other materials. So we could actually see paper get contaminated by having excessive food waste.
We actually, earlier in the audit, saw a piece of cardboard that was dripping heavily with oil that obviously didn't come from the cardboard, but it was spilled. So keeping the contaminants out seems to be a pretty significant problem, or a pretty significant concern. I'm going to actually, luckily, we ran into Miss Irene Congdon while we were here. She's a DEP contractor, happened to be on site. I'm glad she stayed and audited the load with us. Irene.
Yes.
Everybody wants to know where to recycle. I can tell you, we have reached out to the people of Southbridge, and it's the people who did this. It's the people who made the load better. But they want to know where they can get information. Where can we get information on recycling?
All right. We have a wonderful brand new website. It's recyclesmartma.org. And you can go there and find out the basic recyclables. And then we have over like 500 items. So for the holiday season or any season, you can go in and say, but I have this. Well, go check it out, and it'll be on there. So it'll tell you if it's recyclable or not.
Excellent. My private angst. Christmas produces more paper than anything else on the face of the earth.
Yep.
But I'm told it's not recyclable. Why is Christmas paper not recyclable?
So no wrapping paper, because it has metallic, it has ribbons, people put lots of different things on it. It's metallicness, and the goal is to make new paper. And if you put that in water, it won't make new paper. It will be all yucky.
Okay, again, it's back to the contaminants. Contaminants will make for a bad load. Anna, anything in closing?
Well, I just want to remind folks of our website as well, thinkreduce.com. We have a lot of information about our own program in Southbridge, so please visit that as well.
Thank you so much. So, Brandon, you got all the numbers figured out. You figured out what's waste and what's recyclable.
Yep.
Did the calculations. I saw you over there with your massive computer. So, dump the good news on us. We're all taking bets on how good it is or how bad it is.
All right. So our audit weight was 300. So our total residue amount was 33 pounds and 6 ounces. So out of everything. So we had loose bags was 3 pounds 4 ounces. Our textiles was 2 pounds 8 ounces. Our trash was 8.8. And we got wood at 14.6 and metal at 4 pounds. And that gave us our total of 33.6
33% contamination?
pounds.
33 pounds.
Yep.
What is our contamination rate at that? 300 pounds.
11.2.
Obviously, from the above 30% that we presented you back in November of last year, it's good progress for the town of Southbridge.
Definitely is.
Again, I appreciate the town of Southbridge stepping up and dealing with this, and we're going to take a look at what is left. So we're going to grab part of the contamination, and if we can, let's just poke through this a little bit. Anna, we have been concentrating on plastic bags, and yet I still see an abundance of plastic bags in this. Bags containing trash, a lot of bags. So that's still going to be a major target for us, I assume.
I agree. We will still continue to do education about plastic bags. Absolutely. Plastic bags and plastic wrap should not go in the recycling, including bagged recyclables.
Okay. Something else that we never considered because we didn't think it was a problem, but it was a significant amount. There were 14 pounds of wood, waste wood product that definitely should not go into the recycling. It actually should be held separate and disposed of as bulk in the town of Southbridge, which we still give away for free. So wood products shouldn't be in the recycling or the waste stream, but we're going to have to concentrate on that next year because that became a significant contributor to the contamination in this particular load. Beyond that, I see a little bit of textiles and a significant amount of metals, which metals cannot be recycled like cans can. The recycling is for containers only, your food cans, your cat food cans, your plastic bottles and your plastic jugs, and your paper products. But looks like our concentration is going to have to be plastic bags, metal, and wood on our next round. So, gentlemen, I appreciate all your times. Hopefully this will help the town of Southbridge. I know the town of Southbridge wants to help you guys. So, thank you very much.